All right, we are live. I am so excited to welcome you again to Boss Up. My name is Shada Amore, and I am here with the famous Dan Johnson, Dan D. Johnson.
Hi, I'm Dudley, and I approve this ad. What's up, shout out, Ma? I think we should just say shout out, Ma. Ray. Hey, what's going on, shout out, Ma? Ray. You ready to boss up, girl?
I am ready to boss up, and I am ready to boss up in my finances, relationships, and in business so that I can boss up in life.
Come on, boss up, boss up, boss up, boss up. Hey, listen, I want to just say this real quick. I know that you are in the Florida area, and I am so grateful that you are safe. I'm
Yes.
so grateful that the storm passed you by without incident and without any type of drama or what have you. So we're grateful for that. And we also want to pray. We want to pray for all of those that's in that
Yes.
region where that storm is coming, those that was impacted by the storm, by hurricane, hail, Lena, keyword hail. We want to pray for all of those that have been impacted and affected, that you will recover. You will recover, but not only would you recover, but you're going to recover all.
Yes. And also those who are involved in Milton. We know that there are people still without power because of both of these storms,
Yeah,
but it is just exciting to know that the storm has passed over and
absolutely.
just
And,
exciting.
and this is why we want to be prepared in life,
Yeah, true.
because the truth of the matter is life happens. I say it all the time. And I've been saying it, I'm trying to get my young folks swag back. Life be lifing,
It
you
does
know,
be like that.
and life happens whether you're ready or not. Life happens with or without your permission. Life happens at the most inopportune time for it to happen. And so the question is, are you going to be prepared for life when life happens?
Hmm.
One of my good friends is in the Georgia area, and his area was hit pretty hard. That more than 70% of his county was without power for about 5 days, about 6, 7 days.
Wow.
And he was without power for 6 days. But by the grace of God, he was ready for life when the unexpected of life happened. He was
Wow.
able to move from Savannah and stayed in a hotel a couple of nights there because they had power. But then he also moved, went to Florida and stayed for some time there. And then when he came back home, he had lost all of his food in multiple refrigerators and freezers and all of that. Everything had spoiled. And he wound up having to go to the store and restock, spending a couple of $1,000s to restock on everything he had lost. My point of sharing this is that when life happens, you want to be prepared. Now, he was prepared, but some people, as he stated to me, some of his neighbors couldn't go nowhere. They had no water, they had no power, they did not
Uh-huh.
have the means to move. And we want to help you. This is why Boss Up is here. We want to help you boss up in your money so you can have means to move. I'm just saying. We want you to have means to move when you got to move. We want
Yeah.
you to have means to move when you want to move. We want you to have means to move when you got to move and you don't want to move, but you move anyway because you got the means to move.
Yes,
That's what this is all
means to
about.
move.
I'm trying to
Yes,
tell you, if anybody was watching, I want y'all to put in the chat line means to move.
means
Means
to
to move. That's all I'm saying. Means to move. Put it in the chat line. Means to move because it's essential, and that's what this is all about. What do you think about that, Shada Amare?
Yeah, I totally agree. Life feels so different when you can live in a place where you have the means to move. Like it's less stressful. You're not worried about things. You're not carrying these burdens. Of course, things still impact you. So I'm sure your friend was still impacted. but he knew like I have the means to move. I have the means to get what I need. And so that is amazing. And I want to think about though, how do we get that means to move, Dan? Like we can talk about that, like, oh, we all want the means to move. Definitely. How many want it? Yes, let's go. How do we get it?
I think one of the ways that you get it is you got to plan for it. I think a lot of times we live our lives, especially economically, we live our lives based on where we are. And we live our lives based on the instant, based on the moment, not understanding that there's another moment coming. And the question becomes, are we ready for the next moment when it comes? And so I think this understanding as it pertains to our relationship with money is so critically important because your relationship with money is just like, and I said this last week, is your relationship with anything. It's a mindset. What is your money mindset? How do you think about money? Wealth, watch this, before it is multiple commas and multiple digits in your bank account, wealth is in the mind first. But
Yeah.
so is poverty. Poverty is in the mind first. And so what we got to do is we got to make certain that we develop a mindset for wealthy, to be wealthy. And here's the thing, wealthy for each one of us may look different.
Might be totally different. Might be totally different. But I love this point about mindset because it makes me know it's something I can change. Like each one of us can change our mindset. And also, this mindset started somewhere. Like we didn't just wake up and have a poverty mindset. And we won't just wake up and be like, oh, I'm going to have a wealthy mindset. Like, what do we need to do to be able to have this abundance or wealthy mindset?
Number one, we got to become educated. We got to learn the money game. I was teaching today at the middle school, and we I'm teaching on this for this entire semester. I'm teaching the overcoming, being successful in every area of your life. And one of the things I share is that in our classrooms, we don't teach the money game. We don't teach financial literacy. We don't teach financial education. And so I asked all of the students, I said, how many of you in this room, 7th and 8th graders, have ever went to a class and have ever learned in class about money? How many of you have ever learned in class about education? I mean, about financial literacy. And then about two students raised their hand and said, I did, I did. I said, where'd you learn it? They said, from you, because I was teaching about money in another class, and they were in that class. And so the reality is, unfortunately, we go through pre-K, and we don't learn about money. We learn how to count, but we don't learn about money. We go to kindergarten. We learn how to count, but we don't learn about money. We go to first, second, third, fourth, fifth grade. We learn how to add. We learn how to subtract. We learn how to multiply, and we don't learn about money. We go to 7th and 8th grade. We learn geometry. We learn. You understand what I'm saying? We
Yes.
learn algebra, but we don't learn about
Calculus.
money. We learn
Yes.
not in 7th and 8th grade. Not in our community. They ain't teaching calculus. You went too fast, too far.
Sorry.
You
Sorry.
you
Yes.
you, you get to high school, you learn about trigonometry, calculus, and all of that stuff, but you don't learn about money. And so, and then you even go to college, and guess what? Unless you're going to college specifically to learn about money, guess what? You don't learn. You don't learn about
About
money.
money.
So
Right.
you can make money and still make you can make a lot of money and still be poor because you don't know money.
So, I mean, I think it's so exciting that you get to do this course, right?
It's so
But
fun.
it also makes me think that as parents, we also need to be making sure that our kids learn about money. Like, I know for like me thinking about as I was growing up and all of that, like, we didn't talk about money. I didn't know anything about a budget, about what my parents were paying in their budget. Like I had no understanding of that. I did understand that, like, oh, we have to save money, quote unquote, right? That's all I knew. So I also wonder, is this something that we should be doing as parents to help our kids have that mindset? But I
What
also think, how do we fix our mindset
there it
too?
is. So you cannot watch this. I fly all the time, always in the air, about to get on a flight in a couple of days. And every time I get on the flight, the flight attendant says, even if you got a kid right next to you, in the unlikely in the unlikely event that there's a drop in the cabin pressure, a mask will, an oxygen mask will fall down from above you and secure the mask firmly and tightly around your veins. And before you help somebody next to you, even if it's a child, it's saying secure your mask first. And I think it's very difficult for us to teach somebody something that we have not learned for ourselves. One of my clients that I was coaching, they make about $300,000, but if one of them died tomorrow, the other one would be poor because the if
Wait a
one
minute.
you,
Wait.
you heard me with Lona.
I don't understand.
I got a client that I'm teaching the money game, and
Okay.
right, and they make about $300,000 combined in their household. They got the nicest cars. They got the
Okay.
big fancy house.
Yeah,
She got the
making
Gu-
300,000.
she
Yeah.
got the Gucci, the Louis, and the ooh wee baby. I'm trying to tell you. But at the end of the day, if her aunt or her spouse was to die tomorrow, they will be in bad shape. They
Okay.
don't have enough life insurance to sustain the death of the other individual. They
Uh-huh.
don't have they listen, I got 20-year-olds that got more money in the bank than they do. And that's because they've never been taught the money game.
Yeah. I mean, I also think like there's this part of our own limiting beliefs that are holding us back. Like, I think everyone would say like money is important. I need to learn how to get better with money. Like, I believe most people are like, I need to get better. I need to get better. I need to get better. But then they don't take any other steps to get better. They don't realize like there's a lot of limiting beliefs that are holding us back. And I know for myself, I had to really identify what those limiting beliefs were and begin to question them and begin to be like, well, where did I get this from? Like, where did I get this from that, oh my goodness, if you talk about money a lot, people are going to think you're greedy. So you don't really talk about money to other people and try to learn about money because people are going to think you're greedy and that you're going after the wrong things.
Yeah, and most people that hate on you for having money is broke.
Wait, say it again. Say it one more
I'm
time.
just saying, most people that hate on you for having money are people that's broke. It's because they don't have money themselves. And so they're upset with you because you don't have money. And the reality is, it's not that they cannot have money. They have not chosen to make the necessary investment in money and understanding money so that they can have money. You can be successful at no matter what level of income you have. You could
Sure.
have say, I don't know if I said this last week. If I said it last week, tell me, and I won't say it this week. I'm a little older now, and I don't remember like I used to. And
You
since I
are
don't,
older. That is true.
did nobody ask you to agree with me? And since I don't, since I don't have notes in front of me, I don't know if I said this last week. But I remember when I realized that I was ignorant financially. When
Okay.
I realized I was stuck on super stupid twice when it came to money was when I was working at this radio station as an account executive. I was about 22 years old, something like that, 22, 23. And I was doing my thizzle. I was making a little bit of money at that
Okay.
age.
Making some dollars.
I was in sales and I was making about 67,000 a year.
Okay.
That's base and commission. And 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 I was living in an apartment a 1.5 bedroom apartment in Inglewood.
Oh wow.
Yeah, don't judge me. What the
I
devil? She said, "Oh wow, fools
I just
yourself."
like you were making $70,000 in what year was that?
Man, I don't know. I was 25 years ago.
Right, so that's good money.
Yeah, the first year it was 42,000. The second year was 67,000, and
Okay.
then I quit. But my point is, I was driving a used beat up car. I was living in a 1.5 bedroom apartment,
Uh-huh.
and I felt like I was broke. And there was a gentleman there who was not making more than me, but he had a whole wife that didn't have a job. He was driving a Ford Expedition. He had 3 children and a whole house. And he was sharp as a tack every single day.
Wow.
And I looked and was like, how in the he double hockey sticks is he a
Watch your mouth.
40? I didn't even cuss. I could have just said, how in the hell? Hell in the Bible, hell. But I didn't do that. So
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry.
these folk know me. They know I don't cuss. I only say what the Bible say. But look, unless, never mind.
Yeah.
No, but with all sincerity, the truth of the matter was, I was like, I had to take him to lunch, and I had to sit down with him, and
And
I said,
find out.
and find out. I said, how is it possible? I
Hmm.
know how much you making. How is it possible? And he said, real cash, cool, because right, he probably about 20 years my elder. He said, not 20, he probably about 15 years my elder. He said, hey man, you gotta manage your money right. You just gotta understand how money works. And I said, oh, so I'm ignorant. I'm not gonna be ignorant no more. And so I started learning the money. I started asking questions. I started talking, interviewing people that didn't look like me that had a lot more than me. And I
Okay.
started asking them about money. And then they started sharing with me. And then I started reading books. And one of the books that I read that kind of helped shift the trajectory of money for me um, was called Rich Dad Poor Dad by Bob
Amazing book.
Kiyosaki. And so
Yes.
I don't read just for reading's sake to say I read. I
Right.
started implementing everything that dude said in the book. I stopped spending anything that cost me $500 or more. This is in that book. I
Okay.
did not buy it. I wind up taking that $500, investing it into something, and then take the profit of what I invested in and went and bought what I wanted to buy. And
Okay,
so,
wait. You said it too fast. Can you say that point again? Because I
sure,
think
sure.
that's so important
So,
for
so,
people to hear. So, like, come on,
so,
drop
so,
the
so,
gem. What
so,
did you
so,
say?
so here it is. If there was let's say there was a consumer item, because we know how to consume. Black people consume about four
Okay,
hundred
what was
billion
your
dollars.
consumer item? Give us an
I
example.
don't even know at the time. I was young. That was 20 some years. I told you, girl, I'm almost old. Stop playing. But the reality, shit, I can't remember yesterday. Ask me what I had for lunch. I'll be like, I fasted. but, but seriously, if there was an expense that was
Okay.
going to cost me $500 or more,
Okay.
but it was a consumer good, meaning it was something that was taking money out of my pocket and it wasn't putting nothing back in my pocket, whether it was a piece of clothing, whether no matter what it was.
Okay.
Instead of taking that $500 to spend it to never see it again, I would take that $500 and put it with something else to make an investment into something, and
Okay.
then take the profit from what I invested in and use the profit to go and buy. Those are just that's what I would do. My
Okay.
grandfather used to say stuff, boy, if cash don't pay, I don't play. He
If
said, you
cash
don't
don't pay, I don't play.
don't know. So that created this mindset that cash was the king, and I didn't
Okay.
play with anything, but I didn't go outside to hang out with anybody but kings. So what that meant for me was don't charge nothing.
Hmm.
Don't charge nothing that you can't afford to buy
Pay
right
for.
then.
Right.
And
Right.
so these are little principles that I learned, but it was a mindset. It was a mindset, and we have to assess what is our money mindset. What is our money
Right.
mindset?
What is our money mindset? One,
Because
like, let me just say one, I
sure,
love so many other points that you said because, like, just going back a little bit, one, you began to talk to people who you could find the answer from, who had what you wanted. Like, that's what you did. And then from there, you also read books from people who had what you wanted and were able to
absolutely,
take some things. But then it didn't stop there. You applied the things that you
yes.
learned from those people, and that made a difference.
And I allowed my mindset to be shifted.
Mm,
Right?
I love
I
that.
allow
Yeah.
my mindset to be shifted. See, what we believe about money, particularly those of us that came from poverty, or that our financial lens was rooted in scarcity or negativity,
Right.
can significantly influence our financial behaviors and our attitude.
True.
And unfortunately, it influences us to our detriment. Some people would even say that money. They say money is the root of all evil,
Right.
and I'll never be good with money. All of these things create
Mhm.
mental roadblocks that will subtly shape our relationship with wealth. And what it would do ultimately is lead us to self-sabotaging habits and limiting financial success.
Yeah,
You
like
understand
some
what I'm
people
saying?
even say, like, I don't want a lot of money because money can't buy happiness. That's why I don't want a lot of money.
And they're exactly right. Money cannot buy happiness. Well, some of the highest rates of suicide happens upon amongst people that's not poor, but people that's rich.
Yeah.
And because what they thought was that their money could buy happiness. And
Yeah.
so this whole thing about boss up your money is not about us worshiping money. The Bible
Mm-mm.
says that we cannot serve two masters. We ought to love one and hate the other,
Like father.
or hold to the one and despise the other, but we cannot serve God and mammon. That word mammon means money.
Money.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
But can't
so
you be serving money even like I believe you can be serving money with a poverty mindset. Like some people think that means serving money means that I have money and so like I don't want money because I don't want to serve money. But I really believe you could be serving money, using your money to buy all the junk and the Gucci and all of that. Like that is serving money.
Absolutely, and really more importantly than serving money is serving it. You're becoming what the Bible says a debt to your creditors.
Right.
You become a slave to your creditors. You become, and so now you're no longer working to prosper. You're no longer
Yeah.
working to be able to help advance the kingdom. You're no longer working to be able to give to the poor, but you're working to as a slave to pay off debt.
Have your debt.
And
Yeah.
so you could never get ahead. um you know and some people get real spiritual. They hate to hear people talk about money. Well, money is the root of all evil. you know
That is not what it says.
it's the love of money that's the root of all evil. But this belief often is a misinterpretation of the biblical scripture, that literally tells us it's the love of money that is the root of all evil. And what it can lead to is an aversion to accumulating wealth.
Yeah.
People may feel that pursuing financial gain is inherently selfish. It's not selfish. It's not morally questionable. And so, but as a result, subconsciously, we begin to avoid and or undermine opportunities that comes before us to build wealth.
All right.
One time, I was preaching somewhere, and I don't know. They brought me in to preach at a financial conference or whatever, but I was preaching, and it was on a Sunday. And
Okay.
so I asked the question: how many of you in here that does not want to be wealthy?
Hmm.
And there was a person that didn't raise her hand. And it's probably, I don't know. I was preaching at church, had a couple hundred people, but I had to ask.
All right.
I had to ask. I said, because it was sitting right on the front row. It was
So
right there
you
in front of
asked
me.
her. You asked
I said, so you don't want to be, I said, I would never normally do this, but you don't want to be wealthy? No, I don't need that. I think that people this, that, and the other. And I said, I could understand. I said, no, I can't. That's a lie. I can't understand it. Because the reality, because the reality is, if I gave you $1 million right now, you'll take it.
sure.
But when you have a poverty mentality, if I gave you $1 million right now, you'll lose it.
And spin it. Yeah. Definitely.
Less than 30% of the people that win the lottery and become millionaires overnight with the lottery actually maintain millionaire status within 3 years.
Oh, that's so sad. That's
That
so sad.
that's because of they don't have the mindset for wealth. They still have a poverty mindset with money. The first thing they're going to do is go buy. Another young lady that I coached. She literally, here's what happened. She won some type of litigation for $1.6 million. And so, you thinking she's ready to go.
Right.
1.6 million.
$1.6 million.
1.6 million. She put up in a savings, she got 3 kids. She put up $30,000 for each one of them. She bought a G5 type of Mercedes, whatever it was, spent over $100,000 for a car, cash. Then she bought a house. She bought all of this stuff. And by the time she got to me, she had $30,000 left and nothing to show for it other than
What?
stuff.
Oh my
And
goodness. This
so
is so
her
sad.
mindset was, what can I do with my money? What can I do with my money? You ain't got none. You
You
spent it
didn't say
all.
that though. You didn't
You
say
know, I
that
could
though. Wait.
wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Shot, are you talking to me? You already know. Stop
Oh
it.
boy.
I say you need to pawn your purse and your belt.
Oh my goodness.
Pawn
Okay.
it.
So what was your answer for her? What, like, let's say that's someone's situation. Okay.
Sure.
That's someone's situation. Like they've
So,
had some money and they bought a lot of stuff. They've enjoyed life with the money they've been given. And right now they are like, I don't have a lot of money. What do I need
exactly.
to do?
So the first thing that we need to do is we got to understand. I believe that having an emergency fund is important. So we got to put something up that we got to have just when life start happening. You can't
Yeah.
be one, hot water tank away from broke.
True.
You know what I'm saying? We can't do that. So that was the first thing that we needed to assess. The next thing we needed to assess is what were her financial goals. What is
Right.
it that you're seeking to do, and how fast are you seeking to do it?
Okay.
When you're investing money in variations of opportunities. You could invest money in a conservative approach, which is not necessarily an investment, but it's a glorified savings account where you could
Yeah.
yield 5% or something return on your investment on an annual basis, right?
Yeah.
You could invest money in the stock market. But before you invest your money in the stock market, you got to measure your risk. One of the things I tell
Right.
people all the time: don't invest what you're scared to lose. If you're scared to lose
Right.
it, don't invest it because you're not ready. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so you can invest in the stock market. You can also invest in business. I like investing my money in business for whatever reason. I feel like I can control the narrative better. You just put it in the stock market. Government start acting crazy. We get funny people in our office. Dumb people go to wars and all that kind of stuff. And
Oh
then the
boy.
stock market start doing all this kind of stuff. Or you get some overzealous executive CEO that does something and cook the books. And so you got. So I
Okay.
invest. I'm so I invest in that a little bit, but
Okay. Thank you. Yes.
I like investing in businesses.
Okay.
Not only do I invest in businesses that I start, but I like to collaborate with individuals in business. I like to invest in short term funding as like a bridge gap, little small money, not a whole bunch, But let's say you wanted to get some stuff done and you needed some help. You got all your stuff together, but you needed a bridge to help you. Then I like to say to you, hey, you know what? I got a little something that can help you get over. It's going to save you. You'll yield back to me 20 to 25% return, and within a short period of time. That's how I like to send my money out. I don't like my money sitting in the bank. And so
No.
but you got to know what your risk tolerance is.
Right.
And
Right.
so what
Right.
that was the
Because
next
it
thing that
is
we
not for everyone, does not have the risk tolerance to invest in different things. Like, oh, I want
absolutely.
to fund other people businesses. Like,
Like you scared. That's why I've never pulled you in on that because you're a punk. You scared. You ain't gonna
I
do it.
am. So
You be like, it's like, how do you know? No, 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 no,
some people are
no.
not, and that's fine. Like, I think it's so important for people to invest at their risk tolerance. Like,
I mean,
that is
that's
so important.
absolutely, because a lot of those folk that I told you that killed themselves is because they lost more than that they wanted to lose, and they didn't see how
Yeah.
they'll be able to recover. So
All right.
those were the things that she and I talked about, and then she
Okay.
wanted to start a business. So I began to coach her in a consulting based business that she wanted to start, and to say now use your money to invest in laying the foundation for your business, and now
Okay.
you control that narrative as to whether or not how fast it's going to grow and all of those things just by the amount of work that you're going to put in.
That is amazing. And then what's more amazing to me is that we are going to be doing this work with the people in October.
We are.
Um,
We are.
and they will be able to come learn for like almost half a day, all the day actually. It's from
Yeah,
10 to
it's
3.
it's a full day. Get there at 9 so we can have some fun at 9. We gonna
Yeah.
give you a little continental breakfast.
Continental breakfast.
Yeah, we're gonna give
You
you a
will
little
also
continental
get
breakfast.
lunch, but
You
you'll be
also get
able
some
to
lunch.
learn what applies to you. Like the same way you coach this young lady, and like she had a very specific circumstance, you'll be able to create something that applies to the situation you're in.
Absolutely. And the whole goal, we call it empowered to prosperity. Whenever you hear me say, somebody say, Dan, how you doing? I say, I'm empowered. Well, what the heck does that mean? What am I really saying? What I'm really saying is that I have the capacity and the competency to be anything that God has created me to be.
Yeah.
That's when I say that I'm empowered, I'm saying I have the capacity and the competency to do anything I put my mind to do. And so when we say
Amen.
we want to empower you to prosperity, what we're saying is we want to help you have the capacity and the competency to prosper and become financially free. Whatever your financial freedom looks like, that's what we want to
Yes.
help you to be. We
Yes.
we know that everybody is not going to be like Shada Amore and be a multimillionaire. We know that. We know that everybody's not going to be a millionaire, but you can be comfortable.
Yes.
And you could be financially free if you understand the money game. If you stop working for money and hire your money to work for you. If you
Yes. It's
spend your
time.
that's what we want to do. We want to hire our money. I'm getting ready to go to DC this weekend with to meet with meet with one of my clients by which I did some gap funding for them for a major project. They're doing an amazing job. I'm going to check
Ooh.
the job out and all of that kind of stuff. Y'all understand what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And so this is what I believe God desires us to do.
Yeah.
What you and I doing, Shada Amore, this is what I believe.
Not with you. Ignore hell believe.
Hey yo, our next time together, we gonna get a little thingy over the E. It's gonna you gonna spell it Amore. Y'all know she look. Last week she was Shada Amore. Now today is just Amore. Y'all
Okay.
help me, help
Okay.
me, help me, help me. Somebody help. Oh man,
I could not.
I'll just playing.
I could
I'm
not.
just playing.
Okay, so we're gonna put information on how to register for
Yeah,
our
absolutely.
Chicago event. We also
Yeah,
are gonna have one in Florida later
yeah,
on for us. But right now, we know that there are people out there who are ready for something different, are ready
yeah,
to be like, I want to experience financial freedom. And so I'm so
absolutely.
excited for this time that we're gonna have together coming up in a couple of weeks.
Man, it's going to be amazing. The last one that we did, we had some amazing testimonials of individuals that was like, wow, they learned so much. We had business professionals saying that it was so much that they learned about their money, about their relationship with money, and it has put them on a trajectory to become successful. We've had people that come through these financial literacy boot camps and things of that nature that started trucking companies after they left. You know, it's I get excited. I got an 18-year-old that attended one of our last ones and stood before the church and said and was able to tell the church everything he learned about money, and he gave himself a raise. He gave, I think he said his raise was something somewhere around like 12 to 18,000 dollars.
That's
Listen,
amazing. Can you
here is
imagine
my
that? Twelve to
here,
$18,000
listen.
in a year. That's for
Here's my
18
guarantee.
year old.
This is my guarantee to you. My guarantee for all of you that dare to make an investment in financial education, in your financial education, make an investment into your financial future. My guarantee is that 99.8% of you guys that makes a decision to do it, you're going to leave with a raise that day
Let's go.
without asking your boss for permission. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is. If you
Okay.
don't get a raise that day, if 98%, 99% of the room don't get a raise that day, and you got a job and you don't get a raise that day, I'm personally going to give you 100% refund back out of Shada Amore's bank account that day. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just
I
saying.
cannot with you. Okay, so you got a guarantee. It's a little different
Guarantee.
guarantee, but you have a guarantee.
I got a
Um,
guarantee.
and I will make sure that we drop more information in the chat
Absolutely.
about that. And
Listen.
so excited to hang out with you again, wrapping up another episode of Boss Up.
Boss up, baby. Let's boss up. Let's boss up. Let's boss up.
Let's boss up. All right,
Boss up your
guys.
money. Boss up your money.
Remember, every small step you take brings you closer to your vision. We will see you guys later. We'll see you at the
The
top.
very top. The tippity tippity tip top. Mic drop. Boom.
That's dope.